Hi there YouTubers, welcome back to my channel, Workshop Fun. Today I'd like to turn around and just post a bit of an update about what I've been up to. So the latest and greatest that I've been doing is turning around and installing a whole lot of new cable for my solar charger and for my battery leads and the inverter cable. Now I've done the solar charging cable, I've set the solar charger up with 16mm square cable, and that is with the future in mind of adding another solar charger, 30 amp solar charger, to the line and having two 400 watt solar panels. So I've now done that, and it's ready for when I want to do the next solar charger and the next couple of solar panels, each being 400 watt. So in theory, a 30 amp solar charger can apparently handle 400 watts. So that's good to know. That's what I'll be pushing mine out to. Or both of them when I get another one. Now, as you all know, or anybody who's followed my channel, I use Victron. It's worked out really good. I've only just really started using it, but the Bluetooth system is really cool. They have huge, overall huge reviews in their favour. Nothing really that negative to be said about them, and from what I've seen on YouTube and over the internet, they seem to be incredibly reliable and long lasting, and those are all things that you look for in a product and you want, because you pay good money, you don't want the thing to stuff out. So that being said, that's what I went with, Victron. So if any of you who have just come across this video and you haven't watched any of my other videos, I have a 30 amp Victron solar charger. I have a 2000 watt Phoenix inverter made by Victron, of course, and as my backup I have the Victron Blue Smart 30 amp AC charger. So that's my backup for when I push the battery too hard, which I haven't done so far, so that's pretty good. In saying that though, I haven't got the inverter running yet, but yeah, I'll be having a look at a bigger battery when I do get the inverter. So without any further ado, I will show you what I have done so far, and I'll also talk about what is yet to be done. Right, I'll just flip the camera around. So first of all, we'll come up to the solar charger. Forgive all the mess. Okay, so there's these three new cables. That's your earth, and that's your earth bus bar. So any other device up there can hook onto that. Like I said, these cables are all 16mm square, and there's three of them. Each one's 4 meters long, and as you can see, two run down to the battery and one runs down to the chassis. Now I've put a bus bar up here and a fuse box, and all of that's with the future in mind of just simply whacking another solar charger in there next to this one, or over a bit further, so yeah, that's all set up. I've just put a 30 amp breaker on, so if anything goes wrong, sorry, that's a 40 amp breaker, if anything goes wrong that'll break, and it's resettable, so just reset it and boom, off it goes again. Now to get those three 16mm cables through the caravan, it took hours and hours and hours. It was a nightmare, but it's done, and it's safe and it's good, so I can rest and go to bed at night and know that the caravan ain't going to burn to the ground. So that was that one. Oh, and I installed this new voltmeter, got rid of the old analog one and installed this new one, and that's just on my console. Total side note, but there you go. Now, with the inverter, that's still underway. So this is 70mm square cable. It's really hard to get hold of nowadays. So this is obviously the negative, and the one with the red heat shrunk end is the positive, and this is the other part of the positive cable. And tomorrow I'll be picking up a 200 amp breaker. I've got that ordered and it's coming from the auto electrician tomorrow, so I won't be using a mega fuse, I'll be using a resettable breaker, and that'll also be my way of keeping this off, is just simply not having the breaker on. So kills two birds with one stone and saves money. So these will go into my battery box, and the cable glands will lock onto the cable and screw onto the battery box. So there will be two for this butty cable. Now, along with that, I've built some new battery leads. They're 50mm square, and they will be handling everything else that the inverter doesn't handle. So basically, you got your two terminals. The inverter will bolt to these as well. That'll be the only other thing in the battery box other than these two leads. And then everything will come out to a bus bar that I got ordered, and the fuse box that I already got here, and hook on to the bus bar and go through the fuse box. So there will be nothing more in the blimmin' battery box, because right now the poor battery box is absolutely crowded because of multiple owners adding on things, including myself, and it's just getting crowded in there and ridiculous. So yeah, that will not be there anymore. So this has been very expensive lately. These cables, they cost a ton nowadays. This is all copper cable. 70mm square is really hard to find. The caravan supply guy here, he didn't have any. The auto electrician here didn't have any, but I go to a neighbouring town for work, and that auto electrician there actually had some, so I was able to get some and paid the price for it. And basically what's up next is hooking all of this up and getting it all up and running and testing out the inverter. I've even got the network cable going into it, and up there to my new console switch, so that's all ready to rock and roll. It's very close to being done now. I even made a new stainless steel earth on my chassis, just used a 10mm bolt and nut, and then lock nut and a couple of washers, so they ain't going nowhere. And you can see there goes my earth, and it's going to here, and it's going straight down into the ground, or straight down into the floor, and then it gets bolted onto the chassis in the same area as my solar cable earth. So it's all getting there, but yeah, a lot of work to seal this hole. As you can see, I used a ton of normal nails, and just now it's sitting, so I have to leave that alone for a while, and yeah, once that's set, it'll be good to go. So one day in the near future, I plan on, firing this up and giving it a good go. Anyway, that's about all for now. I'll post another update once I've got all the wiring completed. Thank you. Bye.